This is episode 56 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is once again the biggest and bestest Papa Ndoye fan, OSG. How's it going, sir?
Ndoye, Papa Ndoye, Papa Ndoye. What's going on, brother? What's going on? I mean, I'm good. So, 4 games this week. 2 Dynamo, one dose, one dash. What did we do? We split 2-2. So, I mean, it's okay. We're good. We got web listening again, so we're good.
That's all that matters, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also here tonight with us is German, back again. How's it going, sir?
It is going well. Every time I get to hang out with y'all and talk Dynamo and Dynados, it's fun. So thank you for having me.
Well, yeah, lots of fun still. We are going to leave the salt when we do the last Dynamo game against Charlotte FC in the round of 16 of the League's Cup. I'll talk about, but we'll get into that. But one thing that I want to let you guys know for sure is that there's going to be like a big episode. Like OSG mentioned just early, we are reviewing 4 games, 2 Dynamo games, the game against Pachuca in the round of 32, and Charlotte FC, which just happened on Monday. We're recording on Tuesday, and we're also reviewing the Dash game, their last Challenge Cup game against the Chicago Red Stars on the road. Also some stall in there, which we'll get into when we get into that, and the Dynamo 2 game that also just happened, where Papa happens to have scored another hat trick like it's nothing. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, man, I'm ready. This is going to be a long episode, so I guess we have a lot to talk about, man. So maybe we shouldn't do a bunch of pregame talk this time because we seem to do that sometimes and add some clock to it. So
for sure,
I guess let's just jump into it, right? I'm with you.
Yeah. And as always, we do have all the timestamps listed in the description for this episode, either whenever you listen to your podcast or on YouTube. So I encourage you to skip around because, like I said, it's gonna be a big episode and lots of material to go through, and you may have to pause and listen.
Yeah, don't listen to that. He doesn't encourage you to skip around. He encourages you to listen to the entire episode in its best because you need to follow the dash. You need to follow Dose. Don't just listen to the 2 Dynamo segments and skip the rest of the team. We're Hustle Town, and it's one team, one goal, at least on the fan perspective of it.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also just say that because since it's a pretty long episode, people may have to pause the episode to do something else, like work, school, whatever, and come back to it. But you're right. You have to pay attention to all the teams at all costs.
They drive in Houston. That's what traffic's for, so that they can listen to a full episode going to work and then coming back. They get the full episode in.
Yeah. No, yeah, guys. With that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the review. First, we're gonna start with the Dynamo game against Pachuca before heading into that game against Charlotte, and after that, we'll get into the Dash review. So here it is. Okay, guys. So we're now here to talk about you could call it a Dynamo game that just happened in the League's Cup. We beat Pachuca in penalties again, and it's getting annoying. But we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. But I just want to take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Juan Pereira. He's a new contributor to the Foxtrot. He'll be doing podcasts. He'll be running pieces over the course of the season. But I'm just really happy to see him join the platform because he's a avid content creator like we are, and I'm just happy to have him on board. How's it going, Juan?
What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you guys? Been a long day, but I'm definitely excited to be with y'all. Get to write, get to share the information that I get from sources and from other people, and just to give it out to other people that are interested in knowing what the team is doing because it's a very confusing time. So I just want to help clear out the smoke a little bit. So I appreciate you guys having me, and I can't wait to see what we can do.
No, of course. And
Yeah, bro. I mean,
yeah,
he Foxtrot. He's in Hinchada right now, and the man talks. The man talks, and he backs up what he talks about too at the same time. So he's come in. He's been going 1,000 miles an hour, and he's been providing information. So it's been a good touch to the Discord and to the community and those that, because Hinchada's is a bunch of passionate supporters at the same time, and there is a couple other insiders in there as well, and just another one to add his insight to it. Just it helps us to get our passion out there. Sometimes opinions are very very hectic in there, but it's fun, and he's been adding to it, and it's just it's awesome, bro, and welcome in, and appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, no problem.
no, yeah, and you're gonna see his works whenever I share this on Twitter and Instagram and Threads over the course of the season, and he's always gonna be credited. So I look forward to his work, and of course, whenever we like break news, everyone's gonna be on the know. So
Yes,
I
sir.
uh,
already wrote the first
yeah,
article.
Yes,
yeah,
sir. I actually had that one prepared last week because I feel like that was when the hype around Coco was like at its all-time high. But now,
yep.
I mean, today's the deadline for bringing in new players. So, I mean, if any of you are listening to this right now, it's unlikely as of right now that anything's going to happen with Coco. But if anything happens, I'll let y'all know. I mean, we still have a month to sell players. So read my article if you want to
You're
break down the situation.
I'm glad you made that clear, because you're right. We can't bring nobody else in because the deadline was today, but we can still sell Coco because the European window is open. So there's still a chance if somebody wants to come in with a nice
Yeah,
offer and buy Coco off of us. But at the same time, I think Dynamo and Coco kind of made it clear he wants to stay with the team to finish the season out, or unless just something great comes for both parties, and then of course both parties are going to have to say yes. I think everybody's agreed on that too at the same time. Coco's just not going to go because Dynamo said yes. We're going to sell him to blah blah blah. But you're right, man. You're right.
yeah,
No, yeah, and I highly recommend reading the piece only because it catches up to the rumors that have been flowing around, especially when it comes to like the interest that is coming in for Coco. And yeah, there's definitely a good chance that like it's I don't think it's gonna be moving like in the next few days to per se, but in the near future for sure, and at the latest in the winter
yeah.
window for
Look
sure.
out for the winter. That's definitely what I'm saying. We could get a solid fee because the teams in Europe are in no rush at all. I mean, actually, I do want to lead into the game that we just saw. I mean, Coco is as lively as ever. I mean, he's a great player. I mean, you always see it when he plays. He has that extraordinary vision that is ready for Europe already. Like top flight, you can see it. So European teams are not going to rush. They know that the Dynamo and Coco are willing to part ways. It was made very clear when he was first signed that he wants to return to Europe. So knowing that, I think they could offer something in winter. I think it's pretty likely that we're going to see an official offer this time around. So
And they're all coming back from their preseason, about to start their match day one. So they got a month. They want to see the first 2 or 3 games and see how everybody's gelling, and be like, Coco can come in and make a difference for somebody here or there or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you're right. And as we're watching this, I'm watching LAFC and Juarez just scored a goal in FC. So that was kind of the celebration right there.
No, yeah, and with that, we're gonna have to go ahead and talk about the game as much as we don't want to, but yeah, here it goes.
Ah, we
Uh,
do. Winner, chicken dinner,
yeah,
one way or the
yeah.
other.
yeah,
So yeah, as I mentioned, the Dynamo did beat Pachuca 5-3 in penalty kicks, coming out of a 0-0 draw.
Steve.
So third penalty shootout for the Dynamo, and we're now off to the round of 16 of the League's Cup, and we'll be facing the winner of Charlotte FC, and it was, I believe,
Cruz.
Cruzul.
Yeah,
Cruzul, yeah,
Cruz
Cruz,
Azul.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's gonna be the winner of Charlotte FC versus Cruzul. There's a good chance Dynamo host if Cruzul win, and
Either
also
one.
if yeah either one. If Charlotte wins, then I think it may have to like comes down to venue availability maybe, but we'll have more
It's our
information like in the full recording.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna
mean,
be
it
here
was.
no matter what.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Juan.
Oh, okay, sorry. So, I mean, it was just a weird game. I mean, it kind of reminded me of our last game, where you could see in the first half that we were creating chances. We were in space. We were occupying the half space. It just seemed like it was a matter of time, and yet it just never came. And then in the second half, like completely different story. It was just foul after foul after foul, game stopping, game starting. And it was just a complete shift from what we've seen from the Dynamo. It always seems like they go out good in the first half and then they just come back and disappoint. And I mean, there's a lot of positives still to take. I mean, Hector Herrera just a great player. I mean, there's he's carrying our team right now. He's the one, even if it's at the end of the game, he's creating chances. Aliu again, creative, just cannot get that goal to save his life. Quinones, I thought looked very good in that second half. He was having some spurts of creativity. Coca Karski is always consistent. Bassi was a little bit underwhelming today. But yeah, just a mixed result. And I mean, I'm happy we got the win, but there's definitely questions to be asked about our offense. Our defense was solid. I like that, but there's definitely questions on the offensive side of the ball.
Man, we can count on our defense every week. What it feels like, and Dorsey again, just getting the start and just showing he deserves to be that right back. And Escobar can play on the left. So, like going into back into MLS play, I'm hoping that's what we do. And sorry, Stairs, but you be the old man that sits on the bench and comes back off the bench. But I think you hit it on point with everybody right there. Quinones was a little underwhelming. He beat somebody with speed and then he dribbles himself into a defender and loses the ball. Baird was a little bit kind of non-existing tonight, making just so it was a little underwhelming for both teams, Houston and Pachuca. But neither team played very well tonight. It looked like at first Houston was the better team, then Pachuca became the better team, and it just ended up matching out across the board, even in the stats categories, which we can mention, or Foxtrot you can mention. Stats even kind of felt like they were even across the board, and it was just one of those games where you're pulling your hair, bro. If I still had my ponytail, God, I'd be ripping my hair out right now. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
like the main two stats you have to keep an eye on from this game is just the fact that Pachuca had 15 shots and the Dynamo had like 12 shots, and only and they both only got two shots on target. So it was kind of one of those games that they looked pretty threatening, but at the same time, like they were skying the ball or the ball was going nowhere. And, just going back to defense, like I felt like Dorsey was definitely the best player like tonight for the
Yeah.
Dynamo because, and he like coming off a pretty good performance the week before. He's been doing great and taking advantage of his opportunity. So I'm excited to see him start more often, and like offensively, it's I've said it on Twitter, but it's pretty much like all the players like pour butter on their cleats because all the passes were off. Their long balls were off. Their final touches was off. They kept giving away the ball, and it was annoying. And especially from Basi, like he's like so much better than this. But like in the first half, like just giving away pass after pass, I was like so pissed. And no, but yeah, like it's definitely or something they have to figure out because like obviously like early in the season like Ache was more involved with like creating like those opportunities along the way, but like it's now I feel like it's gonna take more than that because like Ache can just be that person to do everything like Juan just said. So it's it's just really an annoying game, but at the end of the day, they got the result they wanted, and that's all that matters. And shout out to Dorsey again because he also got the a winning penalty.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it was crazy, man. Like you could see it. It's just I think the players are tired to be honest. Because when I see Corey Baird, it's not working. It's non-existent. I mean, he's not cutting inside. He's not providing anything to the attack. If anything, like he's just average also in the transition to the fence. I mean, he's just not doing enough right now. So I do wonder if the team knows it, and that's why they're bringing in Sebas 2.0 to hopefully get some stuff off Corey Baird's back. So honestly, just very bad game from him. I just did not see it. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that OSG.
No, man, you're right. Like Corey Baird was very inconsistent tonight and just kind of like oblivious to the team per se. And then, like to Fox's point, Ache doing Ache things, but he did it kind of by himself. Coco wasn't the same Coco it was tonight. I saw a couple people even say that on Twitter tonight. And was Coco still Coco? Just tonight he was off, and it was a little bit of a struggle because we weren't in sync as a unit completely tonight, and it showed on the field because like you said early on, we had a few chances, but then we lost our chances, and just the camaraderie between the team and the in sync was just not there. And as far as being tired, I don't think they just ran out of gas because last week against Santos they ran out of gas, and that was clear as day. They ran out of gas, and just Ache, I think, was ready to bury himself in his casket at the end of that game right there. But tonight was it just it just felt off. Maybe it's the 10,000 only 10,000 people that were there. They didn't feel the support behind them. I don't know. Hector Herrera will say it in his news conference here in a little bit. I'm sure if he attends. But man, you know, like you said, Bossy was a ghost. Baird was a ghost. It's just nobody. Aliu was actually a ghost as well. He's still making those runs and those opportunities, but he's still not finding that final third transition that is going to get him into the goal and make everybody love him for the effort that he is putting out there, because he does put a lot of effort out there. But people are, that's not our striker. We need a new striker. Why aren't we going after a striker, bro? He's right friggin' there. If he puts any of those away, he's a god to us already, or god-like. I want to say a god. Let me don't exaggerate, but he's right there. Just work on his left foot shots for the next 2 weeks, or well, until the next game, which will be Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday. Most likely Sunday or Monday. So short time to work on it. We got to get back out to practice tomorrow and see what we can do against this Charlotte Cruz Azul winner, whoever that might be, after we come back from the commercial later on tonight during the episode.
Yeah, I mean you have to wonder, Aliu. I mean, he plays great. I mean, it's just that final, like you said, that final shot to get into the goal column. I mean, you see it. He has that, I think, that Mauro Manotas feel to him. When he was first getting onto the scene, I mean, they're not. I'm not gonna say they're like exact replicas of each other, but you can see where Ali, you could possibly become that successor to Manotas. We've been missing for so long. We just got to work on his left foot right there. I mean, he does everything else right. You can already see the chemistry with Herrera building up as each game goes on. He's becoming more comfortable. It's just he's got to get a goal, man, or else people are going to turn against him. And you know how, I mean, even for Houston Dynamo, the media is going to be ruthless. I mean, people are going to be ruthless. They want to see goals, especially from their new striker. They could have gone for other strikers, but they went after him. So now there's going to be extra pressure on him. That's just the reality of the situation. So hopefully he gets it together, at least in the goal scoring. But I'm not worried. I think it's only a matter of time. But you do have to wonder if the leash is slowly closing and it's getting shorter and shorter, at least for the Dynamo. I don't think so, but definitely the fans are reacting like it is.
No, yeah, there's definitely stuff we can definitely worry about, and I guess since we are in the topic of like trying to like add more intensity or just like more technical ability in the attacking, or like in the final third at least, I guess we can try and talk about the new signing that just happened for Dynamo, and that one being Sebastian Kowalczyk. I'm trying to work on his name because I think it's Kowalczyk, but I may be
That's why
wrong.
we already
But
call him Sebas
Yep.
2.0. Just
Sebas
Sebas 2.
2.0.
Sebas
Sebas
2.0.
2.
Just call him Sebas, like because we don't have another Sebas here, but
These damn these
but
damn
yeah,
European these damn European names. We can't call him Sebas because people will get confused. So that's why we add the 2.0 to him. But these
Yeah.
damn European names trying to pronounce with the Danish Eric and now the Polish friggin' Sebastian. Like, Jesus, man.
Hmm.
Come on. They should come
yeah,
with a Wikipedia page when they release saying, hey, this guy's new signing. But what are your thoughts on him
yeah,
though, Foxtrot?
yeah.
Um.
So
Well,
so
you can go
just
first.
to no, yeah, just to get like a quick like review of the news. Like it was announced on Monday that the Dynamo signed Polish international midfielder Sebastian Kowalczyk, Sebas. We'll leave it at Sebas now. And 24 years old. It looks like they're having like a lot of faith in him because it's a full transfer, and they do have options for a 2024 and 2025 for his contract. And
Five
yeah,
hundred 510 for the transfer.
oh yeah, that's the rumored transfer, which is probably true.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like $5 million. So it
Yeah.
was like a big investment, but at the same time they're giving him a big contract. So they have a lot of faith in him. And the one thing that I was interested from that news is when Asher, because Colin from Keeping Tabs, he did ask a question about Sebas just being like an attacking piece. It's like, do you see Sebas as primarily an attacking midfielder or a wide player? However, I know he's capable of both, and I initially saw him mostly just as a midfielder, but I was mostly just interested with Ash's response being that
Yeah.
his versatility is that he can play as an inverted winger, attacking center midfielder, or a box-to-box midfielder. This combination is a great profile for an attacking midfielder in a 3-3 box 3 system, which we have been using most of the season, but it also means he can play a 2 or 3 roles in our 4-3-3. So there's a good chance that they might be using him in a handful of ways or just switching him around over the season. But I feel like he's just gonna be plugged in as soon as they get a chance.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the signing, it really makes a lot of sense. For a team that's lacking offensive power, this is somebody that can play pretty much everywhere except the left wing, I believe. You can put him in a two striker system in the 4-4-2 shape that Ben Olsen likes in defense. You can put him out on the right side. He's going to do fine there. He can also play for Bossy if Bossy gets tired or they want to switch some stuff out. Really, the key here is versatility. And for 500,000, that's really not bad value, especially when you have options for the next couple of years. I definitely feel like he could be a great player moving forward. But there are questions about the transition from league to league. I don't think that will be much of a problem. There could also be a language barrier. But I feel like the only thing stopping him could possibly be other players you have in those positions. I mean, Baird played pretty bad today, but he's fairly decent. You also see Bossy. I mean, he didn't play well today either, but he's in that position. They're pretty much locked in those positions for now. Coco's also there in that little area where you could see him playing either on the right or even as a cam sometimes. So really, it's going to be a matter of competition. I don't think he starts right away. As a matter of fact, he might not even play the first couple of games that he's officially registered with the team. But I do think that sooner or later, you're going to see him getting some very big minutes just because rest. You want players to rotate. And I feel like he could be as good or better than Baird at his position, could be as good or better than Bossi at his position. But again, we don't know too much about him. He comes from Poland. I didn't have a very big scouting report on him. I had very little stuff. I just recently started looking at game film, but he definitely seems like somebody that we can put in case injuries arise and just let him play. He's creative. He's not Quinones. He's not going to run up on guys as a winger, but he will cut inside a lot, like a lot more frequently. So if you want to stack the box a little bit more, that could definitely be effective. He can still run out, do a 1v1, but he's really not good at that. So just we have to wait and see. I mean, the transition from league to league, I feel like that's the thing that worries me because on paper, it looks like a bargain. I mean, I think his transfer market value was 1.5 million, but we just have to wait and see. We can't really make a judgment on him until he plays in the MLS and with Herrera and building chemistry with the team. But I like the signing. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, man, it's a good signing. It's a cheap. That there's a lot of that's a good value. 500 for what 2 years plus the option. I think you said Foxtrot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he did. So he's been with the Polish team since the academy. So I think it's been 6 or 7 years he's been with the Polish team. He does speak English, even though it's not very well English, but he does speak English. He understands English. So he's going to come onto the team and he's going to be able to be coached by the coaching staff. And we're not going to have a translator. He was interviewed earlier on, and he spoke plenty good English. He did start at left wing for the Polish team, so he has played some left wing in the past 3 years. He's been as the cam, and now looking at the Polish fans, they're saying that the cam attacking position is kind of getting a little too many players are getting right there. So it was time for him to go. They're going to miss him. They appreciate him, that they like him. So I'm kind of with you. I think this just will be the end. Baird will most likely be the one that gets to sit the bench for him. He'll be a replacement. You can put him on the left, and you can put Quinones on the right, or you just give Quinones a break. You can put him on the right, and 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 then Bossy moves central, or you put him central and Bossy moves right, and Baird takes the bench, or Bossy gets a break. So now we're starting to see that one thing that Ben Olsen does not do is rotate friggin' players. Now you've got another depth piece. You can rotate friggin' players, because that's been a biggest complaint about us recently is rotate the friggin' team, bro. Rotate the friggin' team, please. It was good to see Quinones back tonight. Baird, he's at his max, man. He's at his max, and I hope to hell. Sorry, Baird, and all the people that love Baird, like, go away after this season. Let's just let's just continue adding the players that Pat and Asher are going after, and the style of the players that Ben likes. You've done a good job on the wing, Bear, but as a striker, you just suck booty. And I'm glad this. I mean, this kid is little though. He is little. I saw Dynamo Fan TV. Shout out to you. You're at practices and you're recording videos. The dude's little. I mean, little. Like I thought Bossy was little. This dude feels like he's smaller. So hopefully he's gonna have some little. He drinks his milk. And he's got a little strength to him. So it'll be interesting to see him when he comes in and plays against some of the big boys. MLS is not a BS league. It's not a quality league, but it's uh, we push and we run over people in this league, and so he's going to have to be able to take it, and he's going to have those meat on his bones, or he's going to be broken all the time. So Bossy has survived so far. Quinones' Franco's even survived so far, even though Franco kind of pulls up at the last second when he gets into some gritty 1v1s. But right now, without seeing him play with our team, this is definitely a good addition to the team, and it's something to look forward to. So, i.e., when we play Portland on August 20th, he's obviously going to be available. He's already practicing with the team, so hopefully that visa gets done quicker than later, and get him out there, man. And maybe not start him, but pull him off the bench and get him out there with 30 minutes to go in the game, and see what he can do. Or just start him. Because obviously you see, like tonight, Ben Olsen made a sub at halftime. Taking, I don't even remember who he took off and put Quinones on at halftime. So this time he wasn't afraid to make a damn sub. But
Yeah.
I think it'll be a benefit to us, and we're just going to have to trust the process, like Pat always says. I do. I'm optimistic soccer guy half the time, and old soccer guy the other half. So uh, let's go. I'm excited. We're going to have to make her. God dang. So all my little celebrations here is because LA has scored 3 goals since we've
Wow.
started talking in the past 15 minutes. So it's 5-1 LA now. So,
Wow.
but all right, that's it. I'm done. I let y'all go now. I said my piece about Sebas 2.0. I'm excited about him, and I'll hold my emotions down until we actually see him play for the Dynamo, and how he works with the team and gels with the team.
Yeah.
No, yeah, and the last thing I wanted to mention was the point that you guys brought up when it comes to rotation, because we're getting into an interesting like time, because it depending on how far we make it to the tournament, there's gonna be like less time for the team to take a break before the game against Portland when the league resumes, and it's gonna be hard for them. Like they have to figure it out, because Ben cannot like keep starting the same players over and over, because I think
No,
it's already taking a toll for them.
Yeah. I mean, it's an important time to rotate. Actually, before Sebas 1.0 got loaned, I actually wanted to see him play in the League's Cup. I actually talked to that with Adam Ben Lasses a little bit. It would have been perfect for him to get some experience and not loan him out and still. And I mean, loaning him out really did nothing. So I feel like Ben Olsen is just reluctant to shape up his squad a little bit differently because he knows what works and what doesn't. And I get that. But there has to be a point where you have to be worried about injuries.
Yep.
Because I mean, I feel we all know what happened to Pedri for Barcelona last year. I mean, he's young, but his legs are already knockered. So really, it has to be on his mind. But I just wonder when it has to happen at some point because this is not sustainable. I told you guys earlier. I mean, the players are tired. I mean, you can just tell it. Like they'll just fight to try to get a goal in the first half, and when it doesn't happen, they're just out. They're just out of it. So I feel like definitely. I mean, someone like Ivan Franco. Oh yeah, Franco. I mean, he hasn't been perfect. He hasn't really been good, but at least he's fresh. Like you can see him always running around pressing, which is something that I think Ben appreciates. But we gotta start seeing more subs, man. I mean, there's a lot of fresh legs there, so gotta see what happens. But I definitely do expect next game there has to be some at least some slight rotation. Maybe in the midfield as well. I'd like to see Caicedo start a full game. I feel like he's been somewhat impressive. I feel like we should give him a shot as well. He's got fresh legs in there, man. Does anyone really care about the League's Cup? I mean, I'm gonna be asking a legitimate question. I mean, the League's Cup. I mean, it's not the MLS, and the U.S. Open Cup's been here for a long time. So I feel like now is the perfect time to rotate.
Yep. I'm in the
I,
same
I,
camp, honestly.
yeah, and I'm with you on the rotation, and we've even talked about it the past few episodes or before the Leagues Cup even started. Like, we really don't care what happens in Leagues Cup. We want the guys to rest because of the lack of rotation, because the lack of subs. You mentioned Franco, so let's go ahead and talk about that. With Sebas 2.0 coming in, that's an international spot. Hadabi, I asked about Hadabi to Victor Araiza today, and Victor said he's been at practice or he just started practicing yesterday by himself, which means he's getting into the practice mode, but he's not into contact yet. We still have 18 days till Portland, which means Hadabi still could be ready and he gets in and gets the contact portion back in. I don't know how long he's going to practice on the side by himself. It's usually a week per se, a week at a time, just to get that back out, get into the fitness and get back into contact play. So that'll give him almost 2 weeks back into contact with the team where Hadabi could be ready. That gives us 9 internationals that we have on the team and only can take 8 to the roster. So somebody's going to have to fall off the grid. And i.e., I think it is going to be Franco who falls off the grid. He's the one that is least liked by Ben Olsen at the same time. And you're not going to put Bossy down. You're not going to put Mikel down. You're not going to put Eric down. You're not going to put Ache down. You're not going to put Aliu. You're not going to put Quinones down. So it's Franco that's going to have to go down, or like we've been asking, a rotation where somebody does go down and then Franco's on the bench and then Franco's not on the bench the following game. So I mean, we come back on the 20th to play Portland, and then 3 days later we play the Open Cup against RSL. So Ben, needs to figure it out. Just like we talk about Dash, Lady has got to figure something out with his squad to get them to playing well. Ben, we're playing okay. We're winning in penalty kicks, or 3 games in penalty kicks, and we're making it as to the what is this round of 16 now? The quarterfinals, right? No, the quarterfinals is next round.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just going to be interesting. We'll see what we do. We got to see what happens with Charlotte and Cruz Azul and see who we get. I'm not afraid of either one, especially when they're going to be in Hell in the Shell, even though Hell in the Shell hasn't been quite Hell in the Shell. So let's just do our thing, and I'm not rooting for Frisco, but I'm rooting for them to beat friggin' Messi so that we can go up against our rivals in Frisco and then beat them after we get past Charlotte or Cruz Azul.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and I actually want to add something to the Hadavi thing that you were talking about. I've been talking to some people that are somewhat close to the situation, and it looks like Hadavi and the Houston Dynamo are trying to buy down his contract. Like, as a designated player, I just wanted to talk about that. I got that like 2 days ago. Wanted to make sure it's real. It looks like there's been conversation between the two groups as to how they're going to approach this, because they both know that it's either Franco or Hadavi. That something's going to happen. Either one's I think one of them leaves, to be honest. Definitely going to be Franco, though, in my opinion, because it feels like Hadavi's going to try, or at least Houston Dynamo are going to try to bring down his contract from the DP. So I just wanted to add that in there. It looks like Hadavi's here to stay. I mean, I think Franco's going to go out this winter. I think
Well,
he's out.
to touch base on that, it has to be Hadabi because Franco, if we decide to purchase his loan, he becomes a friggin'
Yeah,
DP, and
yeah,
he's not a youth DP. He's not a under 22 or anything like that. So he becomes a friggin' DP.
yeah,
So that
Yep.
means Hadabi's gone, or we did buy him down, and then we decided to purchase Franco. I don't see a reason to purchase Franco right now.
yeah.
Let Franco go back home. Let him catch the plane that that Sebas 1.0 took. Let him catch that same plane and go back to Paraguay or find a team in Brazil, and then let Pat do his thing and Asher do his thing, or the analytics department do their thing, and we can bring in somebody else that has a higher ceiling than what Franco does. Because Franco, all he does is his hair looks great, and that's about it.
His hair does look great.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Like,
Someone even said he was handsome too. So like, well, calm
yeah.
down, boys.
And yes, those are definitely good things to consider, especially when as the season rolls down and the window's closed for to bring in new players. But yeah, just a lot to think about, and especially with like the players that we have.
Bro, I'm good. Juan, you have any final touches before Foxtrot closes this segment up?
No. I mean, this was fun. I mean, I'm just gonna be optimistic right now. I mean, we go on to the next round. this counts as a win in my book. So you just got to take these wins when you can get them, especially considering this last month's been wild for all three teams. I mean, you got to take your wins when you can get them. Steve Clark, great save there at the end. Caicedo, clutch as always. Feel like he's going to be our guy in this tournament. And just overall, leaving on a positive note. I mean, there's a lot going on right now, both in the transfer market. I mean, the window's closing right now, but definitely a lot of stuff happening. So it's just good to end off this little period where you feel like things have been inconsistent with a dub. Go on to the next round. I think we're the third team currently to be in all three competitions, or the second one. I don't know,
Yep.
but that means this is trending in the right direction. If you had told me we'd be in the situation last year, I would have grabbed it and ran with it because this is. We just wanted to see this. We wanted to see a competitive team. Ben Olsen's doing that. Now the league results have been a little bit disappointing as of late, but we're in all competitions. Technically, the treble is still possible. I mean, gotta keep the dream alive, but the dream's still alive. But I mean, positives you can take away from this.
And that reminds me before we do close out, because he said the word treble, and that reminded me to we were getting to know Juan a little bit. So from what I can tell, I'm a treble winner recently. I'm a world champion recently. City, bro. Let's come on. But it sounds like you're a Barca fan. So yeah, it's okay. You can shake your head. No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm still a champ. I'm still the world champion right now. But it sounds like you're a Barca fan. Is that correct? Is
Yes,
that your
family
main?
grew up.
Is that your main squeeze? Okay, all right.
Well, it's my
I,
family's club. I mean, I actually want to go a little bit
what's
into that.
your club?
Dynamo. I mean, it's the only
Yeah.
team that I've ever. I mean, when I first came here to Houston, it was Dynamo. I'd never been to a Barca game. My dad has been, but I've never been to a Barcelona game. So I guess this is all I've ever known. We always sit close to the supporters section. It just feels like a community. But I'll always love Barcelona. I mean, I have family that lives and was born there, so definitely love to both clubs. But if they do in the year 2050 play in a friendly match, I'm going Dynamo all the way.
2025 in the club World
Club
Club,
World Cup.
because
Yep. Yep.
yeah, we're gonna make it. And
Yeah, let's
we're
make
gonna
it.
get Barca. We're gonna get Barca. All right, all
Yeah.
right. I'm done. We're at 33. So Fox, I'll
Nah, you're
let you
good.
have your let you have your final piece.
No, yeah, I'm a Madrid fan, so I'm not gonna say anything else since I'm tired of winning Champions Leagues.
Uh oh.
But yeah,
Uh oh.
but oh, well, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see a Dynamo in the open like in the Club World Cup in the near
That
future
would
for
be
sure.
crazy, man.
But yeah,
Oof.
guys, we'll catch you on the flip side when the for the next segment as we review all the games from this weekend. But yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so we're doing things a little bit different this week, only because of changes in the schedule and also the dash just being interesting this week. and and yeah, like OSG and I just decided to pretty much just record the dash reactions on on the day after the game, and yeah, we're just coming off a pretty tough loss for the dash. They just lost 3-0 to the Chicago Red Stars on the road to close their Challenge Cup game, and obviously, this was the last game of the 6 game schedule. They only won 2 of those, and the other 4 they just lost miserably, which really doesn't give me a lot of confidence heading to the regular season. Obviously, there's a 2 week break in between for that to figure things out, but as the trend has been this season, and especially for the Challenge Cup, there's there's just a lot to consider. That's definitely worrisome, especially how the Dash try to like change things around, like game in and out, and there's just lots to unpack here. Hopefully, we don't have to like go a lot into the game because of how miserable it was. But I like to hear what you think, LSG.
Yeah. Well, first off, that game was friggin' annoying 100% of the time. I mean, Chicago's not a good team, and the game started off with neither team playing well at all. Look, like I said, Lady's still playing around, which that's fine today. He's still playing around and trying to figure it out. I think he's still going in the wrong direction. But as far as like players going, and he's trying a 4-4-2 formation. He did put Ordonez and Salmon up top. He did start Maria on the right side mid and Ryan Garrius on the left side mid. He did get Puntingham did get to start this time with Vigiano in the central mid. And then he benched Lynn today, which I'm okay with that, except he put Jacobs in the middle, which, I mean, I guess you have to, just because that's our third option for center back. But Jacobs can play center back. Jacobs can play left back. Jacobs can play CDM at the same time. So I thought maybe today could have been a Jalissa Heraday, get her in there and get some experience, since our depth at center back is very lacking. And if Prysock or Lynn gets hurt, then, obviously you're going to have to go with Jacobs, but you're going to have to give Harris some more time. Lindsey Jennings got played. And I understand why Lady put Didasco on the left and Jennings on the right because of, oh God, I forgot her name now for Chicago. What's her name? Hold on 2 seconds here.
Casey Kruger?
Yeah, Kruger. Kruger, who is their left back, plays like that, plays the exact same kind of game like Didasco. She gets way up the field and gets involved into the attack. So I guess Lady got worried about how that was going to turn out while Didasco doing the same thing. So, I mean, it could have been an advantage. It could have been a very big disadvantage. But Lindsey Jennings just got beat up by Kruger right there, left and right. And, he's just looked horrible, man. And, to start the game, like there's no sync with these girls right now. No sync at all. And it's like the soccer IQ is just dropping and dropping and dropping because they can't complete a pass. They're one player has an idea, and then the player that they're trying to connect with has a different idea, and so it's just not connecting right now. The touch tonight was just horrible, and I made a comment in the Discord tonight that Salmon's big butt was getting in her way of dribbling the ball tonight. It's like trying to tug that thing around. She kept stepping on the ball, losing the ball or whatever. It's like, man, just the touches were horrible. The being in sync with each other was just horrible, and it was just, oh man, just once Chicago got that goal in on a transition goal, their first two goals were, maybe all three were transition goals. Just Dash making a mistake and Chicago making us pay for it, bro. Like, it is just an annoying kind of game. I don't know. How did you see how the girls played?
Honestly, like the main thing I took out from this game is just that the team lost as a unit. It's just definitely like everyone just had a pretty, I would say almost everyone, because I guess Jane had a pretty good stop, but and also a couple players, but still, like as a unit, they just put themselves into this like setback early in the game, and defensively, they just seem out of sync, like you mentioned. They especially in this first half because uh, they seemed like they were starting to work on things or at least try to get into it, but they just conceded the first two goals like I want to say like simultaneously, but rather like at a pretty close proximity. And I just felt like it was one of those games for the Dash that it was going to be hard for them to climb back. And the second half comes in, and they concede the third one. And I was hoping they would have made the adjustments by then, but it's just one of those games that it was just really like they just seem out of order. They just seem like they were trying to like throw stuff to see what sticks. And the thing that really like that was really upsetting for me was just the front line, because like there was no support, and every single time their plan of attack was pretty much try to counter Chicago and just to square the ball inside the box. And for me, I'm like, we have all these talented players, all these attackers that can just do whatever they want inside the box, and our only option it's just setting the ball and see what happens. And it's really discouraging for me because we have like a lot of talent on this team, but we're not setting that bar for this team to to perform to the expectations that we have. It really sucks because I expected more for the Dash in the Challenge Cup, and we just crashed out essentially. And heading into the season, or like at least the regular season, we've only won a handful of games in like the past few months, and it's just really concerning for me because it's gonna come down to the adjustments of how they plan things out, like for the next 2 weeks. But it's really disappointing for me because this team is extremely talented, but we're just not seeing it on the field.
No, not at all. And what was it? Chicago scored their 3 goals within a 12-minute time period. 7, 8 minutes before the two goals came. 8 minutes before halftime and 2 minutes before halftime, and then after halftime, 5 minutes after halftime. So friggin' 12, 13 minutes, Chicago just scored all three of their goals. And again, Chicago wasn't playing well, but if you look at the stats, they had possession. They had 15 shots to our 5. They were looking better when they were getting to the box and more dangerous. Like you said, Campbell did have to make a couple saves. We gave up the penalty at the end as well that Jane Campbell made a save on. So it could have been easily 4-0. So man, it was just a shit show, bro. And then even one time the camera. Ordonez hurt her foot or something, and her shoe came off, or she got stepped on or something. And they panned over the lady playing with his damn board again, and he's talking defensive. Yeah, I want to kick that damn board and break it in half. And it looks like he's talking defensive tactics. And I'm like, forget defense, bro. Forget
Yeah,
teaching defense. Drop defense. The next 2 weeks, go out and teach offensive tactics and mind games. Like, teach these. I mean, these girls obviously know how to play. We saw it all of last year with 3 different coaches. We saw it all of last year where the team can play well together as a unit and score and be a threat. Now the defense looks very, very well, right? Solid team across the friggin' board, but our offense looks like shit show and puts the defense in trouble, and that's where we're losing our games right now. So lady, get your shit together, bro. Alex Singer, if you're listening to this show, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but you need to talk to that man, or you need to get Sarah Loudon and Lady into the room together. And like I said, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what goes on in the office, but I think Lady needs to trust more of Sarah Loudon, and I don't see that right now as it shows on the TV or when you're at the game and you're watching these games. It just seems like it's Lady doing it on his own and not taking the advice of his assistant coaches. And Sarah Loudon's a great assistant coach. She had the reins for a few games last year before Armos came in. So she could do it. And she's out there learning more and more every single day. If you follow her on Instagram, she's always posting something about coaching and tactics. So she's learning every day and every second of her life right now is what it really feels like. So I hope the hell Sarah Loudon is the next coach for the Dash. And if you ask me right now, I would fire Sam Lady right now and make Sarah Loudon the head coach. Let her finish the season off. And if Singers, you don't believe in Sarah, and Jessica O'Neill, you don't believe in Sarah, then uh, I don't know what to tell you. Sarah should be the coach. She already has the players that believe in her at the same time. So I guess you can say now I am Lady out just because I'm tired of he's not making the appropriate adjustments. It looked like a great hire, and I was all for it at the beginning of the season when it happened. But now he's at this point in the season, and we're down to the final run of games. Like you said, we have a 2-week break right here, except for next weekend, we're going to play in a boys' academy team, and I'm pretty sure it'll be the U20 boys' academy team. I'm not sure what age, though. They technically haven't came out and say. He just said that we were going to play a boys' academy team this weekend, so they get a friendly. But how much help is it going to be, and what's Lady really going to do? And I've just lost all confidence in Sam Lady right now. And people can say it's the players, but bro, there's just too much talent there. Too much talent. Where did Ordonez play last season with North Carolina Courage? She played on the right side, not in the central. She played on the right side. And when the ball got pushed down to the final third, she came into the box and just put balls away. So let's put Sam in at striker, which he still refuses to do unless Ordonez is off the field. Go ahead and put her at striker. Put Ordonez on the right side, which he has not done at all. I know you're doing 2 strikers right now and you're playing this 4-4-2. But if you go back to the attacking 4-3-3, and put the two pivots, defensive mid pivots, uh, Puntingham and Smith. That's who I'm going to choose to put as the two CDNs right now. And then Alves. That's who I'm going to put as the cam. I'm going to put Maria up top on the left. You see when we were trying to push forward today, how many crosses she got in just in the last 30 minutes of the freaking dash game. And there's several crosses. A couple were offsides. Ordonez with a nice touch to somebody who scored. We scored twice, but offsides twice. So you can see flashes, but it's just, man, it's just, I want to coach the dash right now. That's where I'm at. No kidding, bro. No kidding. No kidding.
Oh yeah, the last thing I wanted to mention is going back to Sam Lady. I definitely agree that he's on the hot seat. Whenever he deserves to get fired at this point, like I'll definitely, I'm still on the fence for it, but he's currently making the case against it. So I am like if it means that Sarah Loudon's gonna step in, then I'm all for it. Only because of Sarah's proven track record with the dash. But yeah, like in the current schedule, we have like 7 games left, and they're going to be in the regular season. Obviously, it's going to be a big deal if they make the playoffs or not, because I feel like that's going to determine Sam Lady's status with the team. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's just like a thing that they're giving like enough opportunities for Sam to make those adjustments or try to turn things around, but it's not looking good for him because, like I said, we only have like going back to June, we only have 2 wins in all competitions, and we've already seen like how far the Dash have fallen in the NWSL standings, and just now we're out of the Challenge Cup, which is another tournament with like a lot of playing opportunities for the players. So it's just disappointing all around. As I mentioned before, like all these talent, they can do much better, and I believe that they are playing to their full potential.
Yeah, and let's look at it. It's not a Nagamura uh, kind of thing that's going on here where he came from two and started coaching the first team and just showed no tactical knowledge whatsoever and just fell at it and sort of like and he was a late hire and he wasn't the first choice, he wasn't the fifth choice, he was just the choice that had to be made, and they fired him and put Bundy up to finish the season while they decided that Ben Olsen was going to be the guy to come in. Lady shows that he has experience and came from OLL Reign, who won, but did Lady have anything to do with it is what I'm starting to get at now. So I don't see Jessica and Alex making a move on Lady or against Lady, I should say. But I would be for it right now. And then you mentioned 7 games left. Standings. We're sitting in 9th place with 18 points. Orlando with 19 and 8th, Louisville with 19 and 7th. You saw Louisville's just kind of got on a run. They didn't play well their last 2 games, which hopefully transitions back into the season. But San Diego with 21 and 6. So we're 3 points out of the playoffs right now. 3 points. It's very easy. 18 for 9th place, and then first is 26. So only 8 points to first place. So the parity's still there. Adjustments can be made. And it's something that, Dash come out on Monday and say, hey, some lady's been fired. I'm not going to complain one friggin' bit about it. Now, like I said, I doubt it's going to happen. I doubt that's the that they're going to go out and do at all. But it's just got to be disturbing that we're not playing well at all when we know we have the players to play well. So it we're losing as a team. You're right. Like you said at the beginning, we lost as a unit. It's just hard for me to even see all this talent playing so bad together. Just means they don't understand what Lady's teaching or the way he's trying to play, and they're focused too hard on trying to do that. I really don't know what to say. When things like this happen, the best thing when you need change. That's usually where something can happen and adjustments can be made properly. And he's had 2/3 of the season. He had this tournament where we did nothing. We like you said, we had 1 win. Did
2
nothing.
wins.
We did
But
have 2 wins. Oh yeah, the 1-0 last weekend against Louisville. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, but
Yeah,
then again, like the four losses were just like we got demolished pretty much.
blowouts. Yeah, 3-0, 4-1, 3-1. Yeah, just crap shows, man. So it's hard. Like you said before we even started recording, let's get to recording so I can be mad. It's like,
Honestly,
which we are, bro. We have so much pride in our teams in Houston, and that's all three of them: Dose, Dash, and Dynamo. And it just, man, I'll say it again. It makes me sick that our girls cannot play well right now when there's so much talent on the field. Jesus Christ, there's so much talent. Yeah. And I can say that again. And people will argue with me, the talent, there's no talent. We need to add some players. Dude, we've been adding players left and right. We got players bunting game, second game right now. Alves hadn't even played with us yet. We have a thousand injuries too at the same time. you know,
and the
but
players that were in the World Cup, thankfully, the Canadian players are coming back. We're only gonna be missing a couple for like the next 2 weeks before they come back before the season starts. But still, we have to like deal with losses and like the talent is there, but yeah, that's somewhat not an excuse for like the Challenge Cup performance, really.
no, not at all, dude. Not at all. And I'm glad he gave the ones that did return from the World Cup a break tonight and didn't even put them on the roster so they couldn't have played whether they like it or not. And the only main one we're missing now is a Lozi. I think Salon is still in the World Cup, a Lozi, and
Yep.
I think that's it, right? It's
Yeah,
just
it's
those
just
two.
Havana Solon and Alosia.
Yeah, so Alosi's the only one that's really missing, and and she's been a starter all season, but I'm asking to put Ordonez on the right side. So Alosi, go out and get some upsets in the World Cup and keep doing your thing over there, and then come back strong, ready to get back into the dash. But we got 2 weeks to figure it out, and we said we had this tournament to figure it out. Obviously, we haven't, so it's frustrating. It's going to be a long 2 weeks waiting for the Dash to play another game. And I'm sure they were not going to stream the friggin' scrimmage
No, they
when they
won't.
play the boys. Yeah, I know they won't. I kind of hope they will, just so I can just watch it just for the fun of it. But we'll see what happens when we come back in 2 weeks and we have all these players available to us and ready to go. And what's the full lineup? And I want to ask you too, because I'm going to tell you mine real quick. My starting 11, barring no injuries, is up top. Uh, and then we can cut this segment out. Is Sanchez, Salmon, Ordonez up top? Alves, Puntingham, and Schmidt in the middle. Vigiano and Jacobs can come in as subs right there. Didasco, Lind, Prysock, and then I don't care if you go Jacobs or Chapman. Whichever one starts, the other could be a sub for each other. And then if Price Soccer or Lind gets hurt, then obviously you got to put Jacobs in the middle right there to cover as a center back. And then obviously Campbell in the goal. So that would be my starting 11. I don't know. Would you change any of that? Would you have a different idea? I mean, I chose a 4-3-3 attacking formation, which we haven't used this year at all either. At the same time, so highly unlikely that we go in that direction at the same time. He's either going to do a 4-4-2 or that 4-2-3-1, but it's still going to be kind of the same. 4-2-3-1 is still kind of the same idea. 4-3-3. Just the transition to defense and the offense is a little bit different. I don't know. Is there anybody you would like to replace out of those ones that I listed, or is that pretty much the starting 11 you would like to see as well?
Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be hard to make adjustments like to your lineup, and I only feel that way because whenever the the players coming in for the World Cup are fully rested, ready to go, I feel like it's gonna give us like some flexibility to, or at least like because I feel like having Sophie Schmidt back is pretty big because we're still getting that experience back that we've been missing, even though the Dash haven't been looking good even with her on the field like in the past few months, but so I just feel really comfortable with her in it, and maybe with Cunningham in the fold, maybe things can be different. But yeah, like in the forward line, as long as Ordonez is on the wing, as well as Bombi, I'm okay. But yeah, I just need to see the adjustment still because like like we've already seen like different variants already and most of them don't work. But like just based on your lineup, like things look pretty strong on paper, but I like to see it first.
Well, and it's not like, all right, my attacking 4-3-3. We defend with the four in the back and the three midfielders, and if you when you're teaching that 4-3-3 attack, and you know how those three central midfielders move amongst each other right there, and then leave the other three up top. Your two wingers do kind of drop down a little bit, but they don't drop down as far as Maria's been dropping down with in where she plays right now. Leave them three up right there, and when we're defending, yes, they do come back on our half of the field, and they defend that middle third. So if a ball gets cleared out, we've won the ball. You turn and you have two other attackers with you already. We defend so well. So I would like for us to trust those four defenders and those three midfielders to defend the ball and get it back out to those three attackers. And then those three attackers can transition and take on the defense, and the team push up and attack together. So, in the 4-2-3-1, he had Sanchez falling back too far. She never was up. It left Ordonez by herself. We all know Ordonez has no friggin' pace. She's got great touch and great on the ball. So she wins the ball, and then she has to push it somewhere. But the team's not there with her half the time because we're still so far back defending. So I would just like to see the attacking 4-3-3. And then, it's not the false nine, where the false nine is the one that sits back and comes back, kind of like what Ben Olsen's doing. It's the leave Salmon up top. If you keep Ordonez up there, whatever, leave her up top. But you got Sanchez and Salmon, or Sanchez and Alozi sitting right there on the wings, not too far away with her. And it might help us out a lot. And if the opponent wins the ball, we still have the 7 defenders behind us that are pushing up, still defending. So it's not like we're going to get caught back on a counter attack and transition. We get stuck in transition right now as we're pushing up out of the back, and then we lose the ball right there, and it's just 4-on-4, and we give up a freaking goal like we did tonight several times. So just my thoughts. Of course, what's my opinion worth? Just nothing really, because it's just worth the airwaves right now. So
Yeah,
just my thoughts. So Alex, if you're listening, girl, try it. What's it gonna hurt right now?
try it and win games. That's all we care about. And winning games, and we'll love you.
Absolutely. I'll coach from the couch right here. You continue to pay, lady. Just tell him, give him, this is the directive right here. This is the directive. The fans have spoken. But
Yep.
hey, we ranted enough. We've annoyed y'all enough, but I feel like that we said some good words. So, man, I guess it's time to move on, right?
Yep. We'll get back into the episode.
Yeah, man. I guess it's we got Dose coming up next, and then friggin' Dynamo. We got 2 for Dynamo this week in the show, so
Yep.
we will bring the info, and we'll either be annoyed or we'll be happy. So today was annoyed,
Oh boy. We'll
but
see.
with still with a smile, though, as we can see right there, a little bit of a smile. It's kind of a fake smile, I guess, but we're just having fun with it. Whatever. All right, but yeah, I'm with you, bro.
Yep. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. Now we're gonna go ahead and discuss another massive win for Dynamo 2 against Sporting Kansas City 2. I would say like a massive 3-1 win, only because Papa Ndoye once again got a hat trick, a second consecutive hat trick. If you don't know math, that's 6 goals in the last 2 games. So it's just crazy how, like, in the past 4 games, they won 3 of the last 4 games, which is very encouraging considering they only have a handful of games left in the schedule. And Papa Ndoye just like firing at all cylinders, which is what I love to see. And before I get into the review, just shout out to like OSG and Herman for being on the Dynamo 2 game. I was watching the broadcast and I keep hearing both of them, like, even like in the mics that were picked up like on the field. I was still able to like see OSG like in the broadcast itself, because he was standing right in front of the camera, like facing the field, which was awesome.
I didn't even know that until you said that just now. So like, even makes it even funner that, like, because I'm sure what you were saying is like, we were kind of heckling the SKC coach, was Benny Fallhaber, and he was getting mad at the refs all friggin' night, and so we were
Yeah.
just heckling him, man, just heckling him and heckling him and heckling him and heckling him. Every time he reacted, we reacted for him. Papa Ndoye scored. We had a dance to do for Papa Ndoye, and it's not a lot of people there. It's a close knit crowd, so like everybody can hear us, and obviously everybody that watched could hear us too, which is cool now that I know that. So might encourage me more next time as well. But at the same time, man, uh, a little small group of the Surge showed up, and we were the crowd right there sitting in, not in front of the camera, but pretty close to the camera, just having a good time and making noise. Armand showed up to the Dose game, like you said. There was some other people there: Rashawn, Chris, the bad guy, Sergio from the Surge. There was just quite a few people there, plus all the parents that always come that belong to the team. There was quite a few fans there. It was even some SKC fans there. So it was interesting to see how many SKC fans were there. But like you said, man, it was a good game. It was fun. I know Herman had a good time. I'll let him tell you his perspective of it. But it was a nice dub.
Yeah, it's a good family atmosphere. A lot of families supporting their loved ones, and like you said, SKC had, I know the family. I forget the player, but number 70, his whole family was there supporting him. So it's a different change in ambience. Like you said, you can hear everything. We were heckling the opposing team. Uh, Fairhiver, which was like, oh snap, like you're a soccer player, from back in the day, now coaching SKC Dos, but man, he's an angry fella. um, Pro tip, it was my first Dynamo game. Parking is $13 and change, so FYI, if you plan on going, I would encourage you to. Not you sit under the shade. It's a great time. The Dynados play attacking football, which is entertaining as heck. Just go support the boys. You get to know the legend, the players of tomorrow. You get to know them today on a personal level, and it's really cool to support them.
Yeah, and I guess like the other thing I wanted to mention that obviously Papa Ndoye getting the spotlight for getting an insane amount of goals once again, like in consecutive games. But I mean, just shout out to him, and also Tate Lampman. Like he's been in a lot of subject to like a lot of different situations with this team, and he seems like he has been like growing a lot with the back line, which is good to see. That along with like Talon Maples. I don't know if it's like a partnership you guys are maybe hopeful to see like grow in the future, or like at the most getting that shot with the first team.
Well, man, well, we talked about Maples last time at the end of the show, and wishing him luck, because we know like his contract's up, and we don't know what he's going to do at the end of the season. We don't know what his future could be with the first team. We have four center backs there right now, including Steres, Bartlow, Mikel, Shashinko, or however you say his friggin' name, and Steres, which obviously Steres can be replaced with his age, but he's been doing a great job playing that left back position, and so does Maples have a shot to make the first team? Does he want to stick around? So it'd be nice, but Maples is 24, Lampman is 17. I mean, still 16, I think. Not even 17 yet.
16,
Uh, Yeah,
16.
16. So he still has a lot of growing to do and a lot of time as well. So he's definitely going to be on dose a little bit, most likely even next year. And the man's been working his butt off. Like he got tired in this game and couldn't even play the full 90 minutes. He had to be subbed out. And we got Marana Mujib who starts it right back. And if one of the guys sub out, he's the one who moves into the center back role. And the boy's a big boy and holds his ground right there. So that's a good fit. Lampman comes out. Mujib goes into the middle, and your defense stays stout in the right there in the middle, because you got Jathan Juarez that comes off the bench, and this little guy, little Speedy Gonzalez, bro, he gets out there and he plays with his friggin' heart, and he gains the cards, bro. He gains the cards, and he was subbed into the second half, got two yellows, got a red. And that's not his first red of the season coming off the bench either. So like he's just a workhorse, and he goes out and he puts his body out there, and sometimes he's late, sometimes he gets caught up in the foul. But you know, he he's having fun out there and he's doing his friggin' job. But
He does
like you said,
what
with
we
the
want him to do, which is play
yeah,
his heart out. Play his heart out. He's giving 100%, and that's why I think Kenny likes him because I noticed before he went on as a sub, he was giving him, encouragement, instructions, all that good stuff. When he got that first yellow, Kenny, tried to calm him down, all that good jazz. But he's got to be smarter. I know he got the ball. I know he got the ball, but you got to be smarter when you're playing with a yellow card, and that's what MLS Next Pro is all about, in my opinion.
So yeah, his second foul was on the defensive half of SKC's, and it was past 90th minute already, and we were up 3-1. Or no, we weren't even up. We were only up 2-1 at this point. So
Yep.
was a dangerous play to create and to go at. So like we didn't understand why he did it, but Herman said it. He goes with 100%. So he's just playing the game. He wasn't thinking about the time and the tactics and everything of that. And yes, he did get the ball, but he went through the player and he had one of his feet raised. So the referee right there just saw it as a foul, came up, blew the whistle, and then immediately threw the second yellow out, gave him the red, and he was done. And this was probably 2 minutes into extra time before Papa came on. And Papa took two penalty kicks tonight, so to get that hat trick, he scored the first one real early, I think the 5th minute. And then the 11th minute, he had a penalty he took. SKC got a penalty. They made theirs. And then in the 97th minute to extra time, Papa gets another penalty, which, the team kind of fought about. It was Evans who got fouled in the box. And Diego Gonzalez went and grabbed the ball, and then he handed it to Evans. And then Papa runs up, and they get into a little bit of argument, and Papa keeps looking at the bench saying, like, oh, I thought I was taking it. I thought I was taking it. And eventually they hand the ball to Papa, and Papa ends up taking it, and Herman asked her in the middle of during that at that point too, he's like, why are they fighting over? Why are they fighting over? I was like, well, Papa is the penalty taker for the team. And so naturally he should be taking it. It is 2-1. They make the goal, it puts it away. You don't need to fight about it though. At the same time, that was the only thing that was the bad part that Papa did. Don't fight over it, bro. Like Diego took the ball. Diego's kind of captain like and gave the ball to Evans. And Evans is good enough. He can take the dang penalty. Let him take the penalty. In the moment it was wow. In the moment it was just like all right, Papa is the taker and he can put the game away. Let him take it. He does it. He doesn't miss. So bro. As we're recording right now, it's a Tuesday night and Shell is popping. Tigres and Monterrey are playing, and it is a sellout. And I'm looking at it, and I see nothing but yellow in the stadium, nothing but yellow, and it's freaking packed to the rim. It looks like crazy. But I mean, I go back, like, man, it was a pretty good game back and forth overall where both teams were battling. It was even across the board. Dynamo was a little bit better with possession, had a few more passes than SKC had. Yeah. Valdez had to make some saves. I just love Xavier Valdez. That man is ready to take over for Steve. And the defense was solid. This team is they're playing better than what they were a few games back, and this is maybe like you said the 3 out of 4 that we've won. So let's see what happens because today is Tuesday. They play on Wednesday against Colorado at Colorado, who is in first place in the Western Conference, who is 16 points above us while we're sitting in 6 points, sitting in sixth place, trying to move our way back up to fourth to make the playoffs. So this it's great to have that win and then go to Colorado and maybe we can pull something off against the very, very, very strong Colorado team. Be interesting to see what happens tomorrow. Well, Wednesday.
No, yeah, and mostly the last thing we should definitely discuss is Papa Ndoye. He's now on 11 goals for the year with Dynamo 2, and the first team is currently getting into a pretty important stretch of games. Like when after their 2 week break, they're going to face Portland at home when they get back that Sunday after 2 weeks. Then they're hosting RSL for the Open Cup semifinal, and then the next week they're playing RSL again, but this time on the road. And my main thing is that is or at least does Papa Ndoye deserve a shot with the team in like this stretch of games? And I feel like it's gonna be a pretty. I feel like he deserves another shot with the first team. I don't know if it's just like a matter like of this specific stretch, but I feel like it's important because it's gonna be a important like stretch of 3 games like happening in the span of a week.
Or what message
So
are you sending to your youth academy players or Dynados players if a guy that's performing like Papa doesn't get called to the Dynamo? What are we playing for?
well, let's go into the details about that too, because there is tangibles behind it. So Open Cup, I believe he can be put on the roster and he can play against RSL, or he can be on the bench against RSL. As far as MLS goes, he's not on the senior roster, and I think all we can do is bring him up for a 10-day loan to the first team. So we would have to pick and choose when we want to use that one opportunity and when it is. And could it be at the end of the season when we've been eliminated from playoffs, or could it be now? Which I don't think it needs to be now. It'd be nice to see now. He's hot and he's in form. Let's use him. But we're still trying to push for the playoffs. You still have freaking Franco on the team, who you have not canceled his loan or anything like that. So we're for it. I mean, not everybody. There's a lot of people that are for Papa Ndoye being called up, but there are kinks that put that on hold and make that more difficult than just saying, "Hey, Papa, come on up to Dynamo today." At the same time, so we hope it is. And speaking of, Pat and Ben Olsen were at the game. Ben Olsen wasn't at the game at this point. Whenever we turned, or well, I turned to Pat, and her mom was trying to do it too. We were like, "Pat, time to call the boy up. Time to call the boy up. Put in Papa. Put in Papa." And I know he heard because Pat brought his kids as well, and they both the kids looked immediately. But Pat, being
Nice.
a professional, did not look. So it's like, so you know he heard. But Pat was at the game. Ben Olsen was at the game, and I think Ben left
Bati,
at halftime. Oh yeah, Bossy and the
Sebas.
new Sebas was at the game. We still don't know what his nickname is or what he wants to be called. We got Dynamo Fan TV working on that to see what he wants to be called. But you know, going back to the game, and that was just a fun game, a hectic game, and it was friggin' awesome to be there and watch. And I know Herman had a great time, especially with the friends that were sitting with us in our little section, and it was just a friggin' blast, man.
Yeah, it's like you said. If you want a hug, go to the search, and they welcome me with a big welcome hug. I had fun sitting with y'all. Valdez in person. Oh my God, that kid is big. He commands this area very well. That save that he made. I told him after the game in person, like that's awesome. Like most keepers just stretch to make that save for the picture. No, this dude actually went up and caught it and brought it to his body. Didn't give a rebound. That was awesome. And then since we're focusing on the defense of this team, aside from Papa, for me personally, one of the players that stood out to me because we were so close to him is the right back, Murana. It's just so like physically built, good defensively, and it's a good support going down the right wing with Papa. So thought he had a great game, solid game from him as well.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fun game for Dynamo 2. Like I said, winning 3-1 over Sporting KC2. Lots to go through, especially with the fun. And what's not so fun was the round of 16 game for the Dynamo Leagues Cup against Charlotte FC, which they lost 2-1, and
We
just
done
just
pissed
really
OSG off
disappointing.
already.
Yeah, that's I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Like I'll do the same. But yeah, definitely lost to the there we go. Definitely lost to discuss, especially that second half and those last 2 goals. And I definitely know where to start, but I like to give you guys the floor here first because it's just a lot of disappointments in the last few minutes of the game.
Man, 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 man. You know what? Herman's been in a mood today, so I'm gonna let him vent first.
Alrighty.
Yeah, because hey, look, let me a little context behind it. We went on to Offsides, the Charlotte podcast today. So this is Tuesday. This is a day after the Monday game against Charlotte. We were invited on to talk to them, and so Herman and I, we both went to their show and we talked, and it was quite a long episode, but we vented. We said our piece, but so that's the context. So Herman, man, take us into it, bro.
I'll just keep it short and sweet, OSG. Andres, we do Dinámico together, so he knows my feelings. He knows I love attacking. I thought we started the game fantastic. A lot of energy, a lot of pressing, going forward. Beautiful. We score the goal. Excellent. After the water break, you can see the players start getting tired, and Charlotte started attacking us. And I'm like, oh my God, they're getting corner after corner. Please don't score. Please don't score. And I feel like a relief when we got the halftime whistle. Then I feel like the second half, it was played on my side of the field. The Dynamo are defending for their lives. And I'm like, oh my God, I've seen this over and over again. We know what we're doing now, and it's like I'm frustrated. And then, like OSG said, the inevitable happens. The dark 80th minute or whatever the hell it was. Um,
Well,
yeah,
let's just start with the friggin' lineups. When the lineups came out,
let's do that. Let's do that.
who the who the hell starts Baird at striker again, man? Come on, we're
Yep.
begging for Thor to get an opportunity, and you put friggin' Baird at the striker, which Baird's having a good season, but he's having a good season on the wing and not as a striker. Credit to him, he scored the goal in the 11th minute, and he was in the right position. It came from across from Quinones. But what did he do the rest of the game? What did he do the rest of the game? Not a damn thing, bro.
Like he was absolutely shut off. Like past the second half, like the first half, like he had a pretty nice game, but in the second half he had to be subbed off like immediately because he wasn't contributing as much as he was. And like I mean, you mentioned it, like he got a pretty good first goal, and it could have been a couple more with the first half. But as soon as the second half rolled in, it was time for fresh legs, especially with a person that knows how to play as a nine.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just freaking crazy. And then, so that was like let's just make it clear. Also, Charlotte was the better team. They had better opportunities. Steve making some saves. Their keeper had to make some saves. They got more shots off than we did. Yeah, they had more possession than we did. They had more passes than we did. So it was clear they had the ball more. But obviously, when we have the ball in our midfield, we can move it around anybody and not have any issues whatsoever at all. So it was kind of like two different stories, two different perspectives. Like Charlotte was like, we thought y'all had a lot of possession, but you know, stats and numbers say a different friggin' story. But you know, like you said, people were getting tired, and then in the 60th minute, we're up 1-0, and I'm just like, I see the subs coming up, and I'm like, okay, and I predicted who the subs were going to be for. I was wrong. I was wrong on both of them, and it was our defensive coordinator Ben Olsen. I'm sorry, head coach decided to sub off Coco, and I forget who the other one was, to tell you the truth, but like it was
Quinones and Arthur.
it was Quinones and Archer were the first two that were subbed off. Okay,
Mhm.
so but
Mm,
he
the
no,
order
it
I
was
can't remember correctly, but it was Dos and also Bassi, but I can get the timeline.
yeah. Well, let's do that while I'm talking about it. Shoot,
Yeah.
let's see right here. So our first subs was Sacedo for
Chris.
Quinones,
Yeah.
and then Bassi came off for Aliu. So when you take off Quinones for Salcedo, you know we're going defensive and we're going to park the bus. And this was the 60th minute. Typical Naga move, because Naga would do this last year too. 30 minutes left in the game, you're winning 1-0, and you go down and lose 2-1. Well, shit, here we go, a friggin' replay of the friggin' exact same thing. So we're parking the bus with a team that's already has the advantage of the game, and we're just going to back up and let them come even more with an advantage. And obviously, it happened. They had a free kick deep in their own end. Mikel got played by the sub that came in for Charlotte. Can't say his name. Big stocky, not really stocky. He's just a tall bodied player who's even taller than Mikel. And just Mikel made a wrong decision. Clark made a worse decision, came out of the box and decided not to make any contact, not to go through the ball, not to go to the ball or anything. Just let it be because he was afraid of getting the red. And it was the Charlotte player that took benefit of. Why Clark came out, I have no idea. He shouldn't have came out. Should have stayed his ground and just do what Clark does. Gave up the friggin' goal. And then here we are. We still got our heads down. Blow the whistle for kickoff. We pass it back to whoever it was, Achi. Then we pass it back to Mikel. And Mikel turns around and shoots. Like, at our own goal. Right central down to, not, it wasn't central. It was in the corner. But Steve wasn't even paying attention. He was caught sleeping too at the same time. And you're supposed to pass the ball back on the ground. Mikel was under no pressure, and he lifts it up. He puts that curve on it too at the same time. Like, what were you doing? Remind me of that one own goal in the Women's World Cup. That the girl she passed it back way in the air, went over the keeper and scored the goal. Reminds me of the dang Dallas own goal where the dude just the messy free kick and the Dallas guy just heads it clearly into the center of the goal, and it looked like he did it on purpose. And then Mikel with the same thing, literally 30 seconds apart, giving the Charlotte 2-1. And now we all know, like, all right, here we are in trouble. Ben tried to make some subs to try to change up the game. It's too late because he made the wrong tactical change to begin with in the 60th. So it's just annoying. Ben doesn't rotate. He's still not rotating. Thank God Dorsey got another start. We'll see if Dorsey gets a start against Portland, or if he gives up on him or not. Hopefully he doesn't. Dorsey deserves it, man of the match again. But man, I'm rambling now. So,
You are.
How'd you see it, How'd you see it, Fox?
I want to go back to those two goals because
Oh,
I
thanks.
felt when Caicedo, because I want to give credit to Caicedo because as soon as he came in, like he was definitely contributing to the game. And he also didn't right a little bit before, like 20 minutes before the goal started coming in, and like Aliyu coming in for Basi, obviously like Aliyu has been having issues with like finding that, like, well, he finds like those scoring opportunities, but at the same time like he has like some extremely bad luck.
Yeah.
um but like just going back to those two goals, like it was just disappointing because it was like purely just personal errors that put us in the hole again, and this has been like a constant trend like over the course of the season. Granted, not all games have been like this, but like with turnout results like this several times already, which is just extremely disappointing, and I was extremely upset. Like just conceding two goals in the span of like less than 2 minutes in that way, like it just shows the mentality that's like some of the players' mentalities that we have right now. And not to mention that it was like the 80th minute where it was extremely important to like stay on your toes, and and you and they're professionals, and I definitely understand that sometimes you may like screw up right here and there, but this is like I said, it's a trend that has been happening for like a few games in the season, and somehow they haven't sorted this out. And just because of that, we have been placed like on this hole. Like I definitely, like there's definitely like some blame for like Ben Olsen for like some lineup decisions that were made like over the course of the season. But like this one in particular, I feel like the players, like it was just like wrong timing from the players, and like Ben Olsen was just like forced to like make those changes after those two goals came in. But yeah, it was just really disappointing because I was watching the game. I saw those two goals coming in without like, well, I was just like trying to analyze stuff, and I was like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening again and again? Like, it's just really disappointing for me.
And it doesn't help that it was only 9,100 in the stadium altogether, to tell you the truth. So, like, you don't have the crowd behind you. But, at the same sense, the supporters section was almost full, if not 90% full. The supporters showed up for this game. It's everybody else that didn't show up along other places in the stadium. There were people, there were good sections in there. You could hear other sections of the stadium making noise and doing their part. But when you look at the supporter section, it was quite crowded, and so you saw one area of the stadium that was full. El Bation was playing 100% of the time. Serge and Texian were there following the vibe and making as much noise. Tootin Houston was in the crowd right there with us, taking Instagram videos and posting the videos of them. So go check that out. Obviously, he's at the game tonight with Tigres and Monterrey at the same time, but that was his specialty. But he showed up last night to give us some clout, and we were having fun until the 80th minute, having a friggin' blast. Security stayed off our backs. We were able to have a good time and not have to worry about anything. So it was just a good time. Hermand even told a story to me when I was driving back from Houston today, how his little section was having a good time and making a lot of noise, and just so it's contagious. But I know for the players, it's got to be annoying just looking at empty seats, and you hear the noise in one side of the section, one side of the stadium. Of course, that's the instruments making a lot of noise and a lot of people singing over there, and the voices don't really kind of project from other areas of the stadium. So it's not fair to call out other parts. Yeah, I come to you. Not fair to really call out other parts of the stadium because they were given their all as well. It was just 9,100 in a 22,000 stadium. Here we're watching Tigres versus Monterrey, and obviously we know why. It's sold out. It's full, and they're friggin' they're partying, bro. They're friggin' partying hardcore.
And it was 9,000, but when the Dynamo attacked, you felt like the whole stadium was full. I don't know if you felt that, OSG. It felt like a roar, like it was exciting. It's contagious. Like my little section was full, 108 packed. Parents with their kids. We had a great time. We met on the jumbotron. I think we explained to Charlotte that hey, what you see empty on the TV is the East Club. Those are fancy, expensive seats. People want to stay in the AC for those who buy those seats, probably. So that's not a reflection of the whole stadium. Like OSG said, I looked over to my left, saw the supporter section, filled top to bottom, jumping around, playing. It was only 9,000, but it felt like there was more when the Dynamo attacked and had the
Yeah.
ball and pushed. It was like a roar inside the stadium.
No, that's true, and like you said, I'm in the supporters section too, so I'm not hearing any other part of the stadium. To be honest, there's so much noise going on where I'm at, and honestly, you got the instruments right behind. You have the crazies singing and yelling and jumping, and I'm not going to say what they're jumping on or off of, just for security reasons, but
On the floor,
it's loud.
OSG, on the floor.
Yeah, on the floor. Hey, I didn't say where because the floor they could take that for what they want to take it. But yeah, so it's hard for me to hear other areas of the stadium. You have to look up and like notice, like across from like where Webb sits, just to. It was actually his right. There was a full section right next to the shell overhang in the 200s, and it didn't look like Charlotte fans. It looked like our fans. Like, okay, that's cool. That's a full friggin' section right there. They didn't spread them out. They just bought their tickets. Of course, that's probably the cheaper ones, which I don't have a problem with that. Supporter section is cheap as well. So get the tickets and get to sit where you can because you can't go wrong with the view of the game. And, just uh, hopefully more people will turn out, but we know it's going to take some time, and there's a lot of other intangibles that have to go with it, i.e. marketing and all that good stuff. All these 22,000 people that showed up to the game should have a free ticket to a Dynamo game. I said free ticket because how many of them are going to use it? Not very many, but you could pull them. They may enjoy the game. It's not going to be like their own game, but let me like, hey, let's give it a try. Let's have fun. We win the game too. Shoot, you never know. but try. Ain't gonna hurt you if you're not selling them. You're not making money anyways, so pass them out.
I think they could still make money with concessions and merch sales if they decide. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so there's that, and there's definitely ways they can just like engage the soccer fan in Houston, because the soccer fan in Houston is very smart, and we've seen it time and time again when they host these type of games at at Shell Energy Stadium and also Energy Stadium, when either there's a international friendly between clubs or countries. Like, they know what they're watching. It's just that it's been an issue with interest in MLS, which is understandable. Like, with like no pro rel, like the product with the Dynamo has been very crap for like 10 years, and it's a tough sell compared to the other sports teams in Houston. But yeah, it's there's things they can definitely do, or just at least get creative to like bring fans in. Obviously, like I said, it's really difficult when you have like bad results like this, like consistently, to bring in fans in, especially with like a lot of fans just being like fair weather. But yeah, there's things I can definitely do.
That was the row behind me. That was the row behind me. It's casuals who told me, no, man, I found the seats to be really cheap. I was off today. I never have a chance to come on the weekends because I'm working. Go support the Dynamo, come see H. And then at the end of the game, they're like, this is why I don't come, bro. And
Yep.
like, what can I say to that?
Win, lose, or draw, you support the team and you come enjoy the team. They made it sound like they don't support at all, whether they're working or not. They don't follow. They just ran into an opportunity, showed up to the stadium. So
Right.
like you can still flip it. They don't have to come to every single game, but make an attempt to come. Just because we lost 2-1 in the way we lost doesn't mean you just give up and I'm not coming to another game again. Because then you're going to miss that game that you wanted to be at, or you're just missing a good opportunity. You're missing just your local team. Just find some support. I know it's hard for a lot of teams that people that follow the Liga MX or something else. They have their team, and it's like they don't care about MLS. But
No, bro, it's where you
it's
sat.
different.
Where you sat last year, OSG. Behind you, row B, to your right.
Yeah.
That father and son. That dude's Guatemalan. He's been a season ticket holder for a couple of years. Even that father's fed up. He's like, I'm wasting my money on a losing product. That's the tough part. That's what we got to compete with. How do you convince those people? Oh, and by the way, we're increasing your season ticket prices.
Well, yeah. I mean, and we knew that was coming. We're not stupid. You make all the changes to the stadium. You expect prices to go up, and so prices are going to go up. Now they shouldn't go up for a couple more years. They continue to go up every year. Then it's a different story and a different complaint. New ownership, everything across the board's changing. They're bringing in all these additions. The ticket prices are going to go up. So yeah, of course you're going to bitch. They don't need to go up as much as they went up. I mean, what was I was $295. Now I'm $355 for a season in the supporters section. So it went up $60. What is that?
25%,
30% increase?
Yeah.
20. Yeah. So I mean, that is a high number to do an increase. Thank God they do monthly payments for those that don't want to pay it all up front. They do monthly payments. So a lot
Yeah.
of people do not know that at the same time. So you buy your tickets and you do pay monthly. So you can do that to make it affordable, and then there's games like if you don't go, you can resell your ticket. You can give it away at the same time and get somebody else to go in your place. So there's ways to, get your money back or make your money, but
And and and
it's fun. I wouldn't give anything back for it.
I'll set you up, Andres. I know you want to hit the ball. I'll set you up right here. And this is what's
Yeah.
frustrating to me. We know what we have on the field, and then the front office is trying to sell you fool's gold. Oh, we're still in 3 competitions. Well, you just got eliminated from one. We're fighting for life or death to stay in the playoffs. Thankfully, our style of play benefits us for knockout type cups. So MLS Open Cup, it's all in the air. But I just hate that. Like they're taking your hard-earned dollar and they're, oh, we're still in three competitions to justify all their screw-ups this year. That's what irks me. That's why I bent it earlier today. Go ahead. Shoot it in the goal, Andres. Top bins, please, sir.
No, I mean it's pretty much just that. Like, and I've said it already. Like, it's just a tough sell all around, especially like coming out of the past like 10 years, and like trying to like bring in people that are aware of the Dynamo, for like over 20 years of history. Like, even if they're not like a hardcore fan like we are, like it's still gonna be a tough sell, like without the results backing it up. And I've seen those situations before. Like, I've been around like sports fans that know about the Dynamo but are more drawn with like the Astros or the Rockets or the Texans, and people that pretty much like know Dynamo but don't know the Dash necessarily. So it's just like a weird mixed bag that this club has to deal with to like be relevant in the city without the results. So, but it just goes back to the last decade, because they pretty much set themselves up for that, and obviously it's a big mess to get out of for like the new ownership, but yeah, it's just a mess really, and it's just a matter of trying to like earn that trust back.
Well, and those that don't follow the team normally don't know there's a new owner, don't know there's a new regime, really don't know what's going on until they show up to the stadium and like, oh, well, this player, okay, we lost again. This is what I just saw a couple of years ago when I was here. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Y'all both make great points. It is hard for the rando or the casual just to really follow the team in the manner that we some of us do or some of us are asking for. So it just be nice if there was just quite a few more. It's friggin' 22,000
And, and
to the
and
stadium.
I know we're
But
beating a dead horse here, but last thing, and I'll shut up. I know for a fact people give out tickets and they still can't give them out. Free ticket and people still won't take it to go see a Dynamo game, dude. That's how low we are right now. Forget cheap tickets. No, here's two free tickets and still people won't take them. We're like at a low point, man. We got to do something. That's it. That's all I want to say.
yeah, yeah, we just got to believe, and we'll get to that point, and then the fans can casually come back and start enjoying the game. We're just gonna have to suffer and suck it up for now, and just be the ones that are behind the team and behind the crowd, and just the ones that the players and the coach recognizes. So y'all are the guys that come to every game, and just be there and just hold our heads up high and be strong for everybody else, and welcome them once they do decide to show up to the stadium. And, of course, we want to see more, and that's why we're just kind of bitching about it at the same time. It'd be nice. There's teams out there that are getting 20,000 to show up to their game, and they're not exactly doing well themselves. It's just different, but Houston is just so big, is what we're saying too. At the same time, what was it, 7 million people there, and we can't put 22,000 in a stadium,
Mm-hmm.
even on a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but you're right. There's work to do. Nobody wants to go to losers. Even the Astros, when they were losing 100 games a season, 20,000, 25,000 were showing up, and they hold 45 or 43. So it's all right, man. We got work to do, but we'll be there for you, the casuals and the randos, which I know none of them are listening to this, so we'll be there whenever they do show up. But for the rest of you, man, I've always got my H's up for you, and we're always holding it down at the same time. And it's good to see y'all. See y'all when we do see y'all at the games or at Dose or walking through the streets going to the game or just running into you at random places. As Houston may be big, but it's a small world sometimes. We're running into people.
And if you're listening,
And I'm
shout
not.
out to you. Big hug. We're in this together. You're not alone.
That's right. Oh, well, that's true. And like, it's definitely something we have to discuss at some point, because like even though attendance issues have been like a dead horse topic, it's something we have to like address, especially when it comes to like this important round 16 game that just happened, and we just have and we just drew only 9,000. So it was a good issue to discuss, and I'm glad we were able to do that. But yeah, the Dynamo, our Leagues Cup, they missed an opportunity to play Messi, which is something that OSG was definitely looking forward to. and and yeah,
Hey, go Charlotte. Knock Messi down. Beat him down. Kick his butt. And then even if my Inter Messi or Miami gets past Charlotte, which in all cases they should get past Charlotte. Charlotte's not playing well even after last night. They're still not playing well. That potential matchup against Philadelphia in Philadelphia, that's going to be a hard match for even Messi to win. So, or Miami is what we should call them, because they do play with 11 on the field. They don't play with just one. So it will be interesting for this next 2 weeks. Like you said, Dynamo are off this coming weekend, and then they return back on the 20th to host Portland on a Sunday. The Dash will be in the stadium on Saturday before that, and Dose is on the road on. Well, they still got 2 games to play. They got one Wednesday and they got one this Saturday at the same time. So, but that weekend when Dose and Dash both return, all 3 teams will be playing on the weekend. So just, follow your teams and throw some support. And I say it like I do every time we getting ready to end the show. But say something to us on X. We'll reply, or on Instagram. Let us know how you feel.
Oh, I'm glad you touched that, OSG. You have a friend of ours on X that has some beef with you. So you got to go respond to a fan.
Is it
Musa?
Is it Muzi? Is it Muzi? About time he freaking replied back.
It's Muzi.
Where?
I don't know.
All right.
Where?
Let's end this. Let's end it here. Let's end it here before OSG gets
animated.
Gets riled up. Yeah, gets riled up.
No, yeah, guys. We'd appreciate you, like as always. Like it's definitely been like a tough week, except for Dynamo 2. But we love you guys so much for like listening to our stuff as always, and just keeping up with our content. And as always, stay noodle, yo.
Nature's up.